Welcome to this episode of Shonen Flop, where we talk about manga and Shonen Jump that did make it big. I'm David.
I'm Jordan.
Next week, we'll be ranking everything we've read so far, because it's 5 years of Shonen Flop.
Jesus
Jordan,
Christ.
Can you fucking believe it?
Holy shit.
If our podcast was a child, they'd be allowed to vote next year. If you'd like to read along with us, actually, none of that text is relevant. There's no 6-word summaries, because we're not doing that, but we are going to cover SWAT after that, so just a heads up.
Oh boy, it's SWAT!
Circling back to one of the worst things we've ever read, do not worry, Kaylin, we have another guest we're going to torture with that series. We did try to provide something we thought you'd enjoy. And on that note, we are talking about Rash, and we are joined by Kaylin, aka MarzGurl.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on for this. This is very dedicated specifically to my interests, honestly.
So we have the wonderful MaxyBee, who actually finds the series we cover over our guests, and they were super, super excited because they know that you really love City Hunter, and they were like, I've been saving this for a while. Cannot think of a better time to cover Rash than with MarzGurl.
Yeah, this is absolutely perfect for me, and you guys did your research. That is incredible.
MaxyBee does the research, and we got to give credit to them. We want to make sure they get their props because they do a lot of good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, MaxyBee is fantastic. They every episode do provide us with really insightful research notes. We actually have an award every year for the most interesting MaxyBee fact.
Oh, that's perfect.
What did MaxyBee win last year, Jordan? I know there was one where it's like we found out that he like kind of discovered two mangaka were like cousins or something.
MarzGurl, one of the first terrible manga that we covered is called Beast Children.
I'm vaguely familiar
But Jordan,
with
that fact wasn't discovered by MaxyBee.
That it was terrible?
It was terrible.
That was canceled because of the sports event. So Green Greens, though, however, Kaylin, for context, the series Green Greens is done by an author, and both of his sports manga series literally were canceled as soon as a major sports tournament ended in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very unfortunate, but also, like, you couldn't ask for a better interruption for the topic that you personally write and illustrate.
It was unfortunate for the one that was good, and the one that was bad was clearly kept going longer than it should have so that it could outlast the tournament.
Yeah, and it's happened twice. But Green Greens is actually very good, and I'm really sad it got canceled.
Yeah. Huge glow up.
Anyway, so Kaylin, we're not here to talk about Green Greens.
No.
We're here to talk about Rash with you. Do you mind telling the audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure, so my name is Kaylin Saucedo. On the internet, I am often known as MarzGurl because I just picked a username in the 8th grade and then never changed it.
Does your Greek audience refer to you as Aries Girl?
You know what? I would love to meet one Grecian who knows who I am, for starters.
I'm actually going to Greece in June. I'll try and buy some merch and see if anyone picks up on it.
Ah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Actually, Jordan's girlfriend is Greek.
Yeah, Steph is Greek, and I
there you go.
I told her about the Vic Mignogna video that you did. That's a plug.
No, I'm sorry.
No, MarzGurl, look, I'm gonna defend the video you made. MarzGurl made I believe an 11-hour
It is
video essay delving into Vic Mignogna being a creep. And yes, there is in fact 11 hours worth of content on that because Vic Mignogna is such a creep.
I swear to God, I'm writing this thing, right? And I'm like, man, if I'm lucky, this is only gonna be 3 hours. I was really, really excited. Like, yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this one shorter than you might imagine. And then as I'm editing this thing, I'm going, I don't know, I might be lucky if it's only 7 hours. And then next thing I know, there's another 4 hours at the end. I don't know how that happened. I can't keep holding all these hours.
Let's be real, it's less of a video essay and more of a video book.
A little bit, yeah. I probably could have just published the manuscript as a novella, if I'm to be honest.
But look, I mean it when I say that, like, it didn't feel like 11 hours. I think you did a really good job keeping it going.
I appreciate that. I mean, I tried. I didn't know how to stop.
Again, it's not your fault he's such a creep and there's so much to talk about. Like,
God damn it. It's hard to rewatch the dub of Fullmetal Alchemist now.
it's so weird how I remember people arguing with me that, like, he wasn't a creep based on, like, some unrelated supposed retraction or something. And then
Sure.
I watch your video and it's like one thing that I don't know this person's talking about versus 11 hours of stuff. Oh my God. No, fuck that guy.
There's so many people that show up in the comments that are just like, oh yeah, well he's not a creep, what about this thing? And I'm just like, well, you clearly didn't watch the video because I talked about thing.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. Insanity. But thank you for spending that much time with it. I am sorry, but thank you.
Look, if I thought it was a bad video, I would have stopped watching it. So
Jordan only would have watched 3 hours of it.
yeah.
Anyway, I don't have a really good way to segue into talking about this manga, but let's just go into that. Segue. Jordan, take it away.
So this is Rash, and it was created by a guy named Tsukasa Hojo. Notable people that they were an assistant for, well, actually none. He began drawing manga while he was still in university and was serialized shortly after graduation. He didn't really have time to work for anybody, and, you know, regardless of our feelings on how the series turned out, based on the quality of, on the fundamentals of manga creation, not shocked to hear that if that's how he came out of the gate.
I actually at first misread I read MaxyBee's notes, and I thought they just an assistant call it like None Hojo,
Oh, God.
and it was like his cousin or something.
The word none. Yeah, none.
Yeah, and I just try to think like, what's it's like, oh, it can't be none. It's no, like None or something.
To be fair, None does seem like a name,
a Japanese name,
like a name that would be in an anime or a manga.
In fact, it's short for no name. No name.
Oh, yeah, of course.
God.
But anyway,
they had some very. I think their first assistant is not surprising at all.
oh no, Takahiko Inoue of Slam Dunk, and more importantly and famously, of course, Chameleon Jail.
Far more famous and important than Slam Dunk.
And fucking Slam Dunk, the manga that made it.
It's like saying Ringo Starr of Thomas the Tank Engine thing.
Yeah.
MarzGurl, Chameleon Jail is a series that we covered on here and is not very good.
I imagined there was a very personal reason tied to the mentioning of Chameleon Jail.
Yeah. No, it's about a guy who, believe it or not, can change his appearance and takes people to jail.
Would have never guessed from the title.
Ever.
Crazy, right?
He helped him on City Hunter, also had as an assistant Haruto Umezawa of Hallelujah 2 Boy fame, and that is an O with a slash through it, on City Hunter again, and Yoshihiro Yanagawa of Nemuri Kiyoshiro fame. I've heard of that one, sure. Yeah, totally. But other works that this guy did was Cat's Heart Eye. 1981, 1984, 18 volumes, Shonen Jump. Very successful. Trio of art thief sisters trying to reclaim all art belonging to their missing father. I actually, unironically, have heard of this, and is apparently really big in France.
Yeah, both Cat's Eye and City Hunter. Friggin' enormous in France. France loves the shit out of Tsukasa Hojo.
No, it's interesting because this is the second time that something like that's happened. We also covered a series by the guy who, if you've ever heard of Space Adventure Cobra.
Yes.
Yeah. And, oh God, have you ever heard of Gun Dragon Sigma then?
God.
Yes, I have.
We covered Gun Dragon
We covered that with
Sigma.
Casey Green.
Yeah, we covered it with Casey Green. That series, CGI manga except for one girl.
Except for her ass.
Incredible.
Except for one girl's ass. The other series that this guy worked on, the famous one, or I guess most famous one, because Cat's Eye is pretty big too, City Hunter. Oh, 85 to 91, 35 volumes.
That's the one. That's the big one. That's the one that I do a podcast on with my husband. Dedicated nothing but time to only City Hunter. City Hunter and City Hunter only.
That's on my been meaning to read list.
Yeah,
I'm
like Fist of the North Star. I'm going to read it at some point.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna warn you ahead of time. Parts of it have not aged very well, as you might have maybe reading this manga.
Yeah.
Would understand, but aside from the not so greatly aged parts, it is quite good.
Well, I'm sure you're not referring to treatment of women or queer people when you're talking about things that
surely
haven't
not.
aged well. Ha ha. But yeah, no, the massive series. Other stuff this guy did, it seems like he's been working pretty consistently, including Komarebi Under the Dappled Sun, 93, F Compo, whatever that means. Family Computer. Fun fact, I worked on a very bad low-budget movie one point called F Godfather, about a mafia godfather, but the F stands for fairy because he's secretly a fairy godfather.
Oh, wow.
Starring Vin Diesel.
Yes, 1996 to 2000. Angel Heart, 2001, 2010. So that's 9 years. That is not going on this show. And Angel Heart, the second season took 7 years to complete, apparently.
Yeah, and Angel Heart is like a spin-off universe from City Hunter.
It's funny how the spin-off went way longer than City Hunter.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah, like Star Trek The Next Generation. But anyway, we're not talking about that stuff right now. We're talking about Rash. And
yeah.
That ran from September 27th, 1994 to January 31st, 1995. It replaced Ultra 11 by Tetsuya Watanabe and Tetsuya Gano. The Tetsuyas, one volume, that's a flop. And it was replaced by Jinai-ryu, Jujitsu, Butoden, Majima-kun, Tsutobasa. Goddamn. By Makoto Niwano. 15 volumes. It was series started at the same time as it was Yatsu no Nawa Maria by Munenori Michimoto. 1 volume, that's a flop. Tokyo Crime Story Bosatsu to Fudo by Makoto Iwasaki and Ryuji Sugihara. 1 volume. It's a short series, so maybe it wasn't a flop, it was just like a mini-series. And Bakudan, that's right, not Bakugan or Bakuman. This is Bakudan by Akira Miyashita. 2 volumes, that's a flop. Rash, though, it went for 16 chapters, and that's 2 volumes. So yeah, let's get into talking about the subject of the series. Oh my god, what's this on my arm? It's, Rash. Anyway, 2 exclamation points, very important to note.
A bus is transporting prisoners when a hot lady driving a cool car stops next to them. Apparently, the prison's old doctor is retiring and her granddaughter is taking over. But like these two things... Oh, there's like a comma, this invisible comma in there.
Invisible comma.
But, like, these two things can't be related, right? Just kidding. It turns out that the hot lady is her granddaughter, Dr. Yuki Asaki.
What?
Asaka. Excuse me. Dr. Yuki Asaka. The driver has a sudden heart attack and the bus is taken over by prisoners. So Yuki chases the bus down and she uses her super kung fu powers to defeat the prisoners before restarting the driver's heart with a car battery. Meanwhile, Yuki's childhood friend, a cop named Tatsumi, aka Scamp, is freaked out to learn that she's back because she, Cray, a prisoner's daughter, is being stalked before her wedding day for rejecting a creepy guy. The prisoner has a panic attack and Yuki tells them to stop giving him oxygen because that could kill him. Instead, she puts a plastic bag over his head so he passes out instead. They repeatedly do this each time he wakes up.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're just like suffocate him a little bit.
That'll fix it.
It's like you made up a parody of a Dr. House episode.
Yuki pretends to be the prisoner's daughter so she can lure out the stalker, and they fight. The house ends up exploding when he fills it with gas, and Scamp tries to shoot him, but everybody's fine. It's no big deal.
Yeah, whatever. It's just an explosion. Everyone's fine.
Yeah, just a little explosion.
Oh, Popcorn Jordan.
Dr. Makoto Hino shows up to bring Yuki back to the Tokyo hospital she quit to move here, and recounts how she exposed political corruption with her sexiness. Next, Yuki meets a rude young girl named Haruka, whose boyfriend is recovering from a drug overdose. That night, when Yuki is at a nightclub, she sees Haruka being accosted by some drug dealers. Turns out that they forced Haruka's boyfriend to OD, so Yuki knocks them out and Haruka falls in love with her. Haruka Haruka uses Scamp to trick Yuki into going to dinner with her, leading to Yuki tracking him down to an undercover position and inadvertently beats up the bad guys along with him. Haruka is then kidnapped by that group because they think Yuki is from a rival gang, because why the fuck else would she show up out of nowhere to beat them up? Like, what is she doing? Yuki goes to save her, but they end up both being saved by Scamp, causing Haruka to fall in love with him instead. When Scamp rejects Haruka's advances, she makes him admit that he loves Yuki, causing him to confess his love to her. Yuki rejects him, though, because she is actually in love with a doctor named Nita, who is being held in prison for murdering 5 people, and I feel like the author had just watched Silence of the Lambs.
I really like that murder did not totally take this man off the table for her.
No, in fact, it made her more interested, if anything.
Yeah, it kind of made, she was kind of into it.
She's like, oh, I can save him.
Literally.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so, like, were you murdering in, like, a fun way or, like, a sexual way? This is, like, I'm just not, twirling her hair. It's like, tell me more about those people you killed.
Tell me more, no, that's, you're so bad.
I know.
You're so bad.
You're like Batman.
Popcorn David.
Hey, I was like, should I keep talking like that? Anyway, Nito was her teacher and believed that the only way to cure people permanently is to kill bad guys. Yuki thinks that's cool, but maybe let's not kill people, but she's still open to it.
She's still Nita, it's like...
She's like, let's try my way of not killing people and see.
Coming from.
I get it, we'll figure it out.
It's like some murder is okay. Nita disagrees, so Yuki says she's going to try and prove him wrong by tracking down his targets and bringing them in. A prisoner with a scar helps her by saying that she could pretend to be a drug dealer named Rose, who was his lover that was killed. Yuki successfully tricks one of them with the help of Scamp, but the others catch on to her because, get this, Rose was trans and therefore ugly. Where did they say she was trans? Did I miss that?
They did say, yeah. They were like,
I just thought they said she was over 6 feet tall.
No, they
That's
were like,
part of it.
When they were having that conversation and she's trying to make that deal of, what I don't even remember what the deal was that she was trying to make with the guy when she met him in the restaurant or whatever, and she's trying to be sexy at him, and the doctor or guy, whoever she was talking to, was kind of freaking out. He was having kind of a trans panic moment. It was not super great.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a moment where they're driving and Scamp is like, hey, you should stop pretending to be Rose because she's a man.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have totally... I'll be honest, like, there was so much text near the end and I was like, I just kind of want the series.
This is really unfortunate because I don't understand, because apparently, from everything I've heard, by the time Tsukasa Hojo made F-Compo, actually, that series is quite progressive. I don't know what the fuck happened here.
It's like so weird. I mean, we have a whole section about why it failed, and we'll talk about that shit probably. Yeah.
Sure.
Probably. Yeah. It's like, I think it's one of the voice actors in Yakuza was like anti-trans, and then I don't really, if this story is true or not, but apparently he got like the blowjob of his life from a trans woman.
Oh, yeah, it was one of the Japanese actors in Yakuza 0, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I think that actually did happen where he just got a blowjob that changed his opinion on trans women. Anyway, Hino calls the cops and the bad guys are arrested. Though, Nita killed those 2 guys in jail. Scamp and Yuki go to the final target, who is a corrupt politician. They try and get him to turn himself in, but it's like, lol, no. And then Nita shows up and lights his house on fire after the politician was like, you seem to know too much about this. I'm gonna kill you guys.
Yeah.
Yuki shoots Nita in the shoulder to stop him from killing the bad guy, but the house collapses on him and he dies anyway. Yuki wants to go back for him, but Scamp slaps her because she's being a hysterical woman. And he's like, it must have been a full moon, dame. And it's implied that it makes her fall in love with him. But yeah, the bad guys all die and Nita gets away with it. If he did die, we don't know. To be continued, but probably not. Unless, actually, Caitlin, you can tell us, did this plot ever get picked up in any of his other works? Because this has happened before in Shonen Flop.
As far as I am aware, no. But boy, does he love borrowing from himself, because I cannot tell you how much City Hunter I see in this, but worse.
Really?
Let's get through the characters real quick and then absolutely want to hear those negatives. So, actually, though, Caitlin, do you mind telling us about Yuki?
Yeah, Yuki. So, she's a sexy doctor. I love that. I'm just gonna skip down to the bullet point that says not a doctor. Like, let's be real here, because like you think for about 2/3 of this story, like, yeah, she's a doctor. You know, she got hired to work in this jail or whatever. Oh, turns out she hasn't finished medical school yet.
She doesn't have a medical license.
She's not a doctor.
I think I missed that. What?
Yeah,
Like,
they say she's still in med school.
really?
Yeah.
She didn't actually finish med school. The whole time they've got another doctor trying desperately, like, oh no, we've got to bring her back. We got to bring her back. She was the greatest, even though she's not done with school.
Oh my god.
And she is absolutely insane, as your bullet point suggests.
It's like she acts more like a cop than a doctor. She like barely does any doctoring in this series.
It's very true.
We're absolutely going to discuss that in the negative section.
She can fix me, literally. And that means while driving a car and having a dude looking over her shoulder to stare at her thighs, she will also be driving the car with one knee and sewing up a head wound. Incredible. Just absolutely
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah, absolute girl boss status. But she is extremely violent. She just beats up a lot of people in the series.
She does. Used to sneak into a jail, just for funsies. That's just a thing she would do as a child.
She is very self-conscious about her age. It's like she is very upset when she goes to the nightclub and they're like, "Oh, you're that woman's old," and it's like,
and she's got to be like at best like 24. I don't know.
No,
she's in med school. She's probably like 23 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, 23, 24. And I just have to say, for my own sake, when I say I think they're just like Tsukasa Hojo's just doing a city hunter again, she just kind of looks 100% exactly like the main female character, Kaori, from City Hunter, right down to I cannot stand this like little rat tail piece of hair that she's got on the back of her head, which Kaori did not used to have in City Hunter, but if you've watched recent City Hunter animated films, there's this little rat tail there that I'm not sure why it just suddenly started appearing, and now I'm wondering, oh, did they just borrow it from Rash? I'm not really sure.
Well, what actually happened is she decided to become a Padawan to a Jedi. And she has not graduated from Jedi school either.
Okay.
Incredible.
Well, why don't we force ourselves to talk about the next person? So, Jordan, why don't you tell us about Scamp?
Okay, so this is Tatsumi, aka Scamp. She just kind of calls him Scamp. Like, they're
He gives himself a nickname.
Yeah, does he give it or does she give it? I don't fucking know.
I feel like this is also a Frenchism. Something about this manga feels like either it was translated from French and not Japanese, or a French person translated it, and that's the word that they picked.
I think the grammar, it's like very awkward, and there are definitely grammar mistakes, but it definitely, I can tell not a native English speaker did the final pass on this.
Right.
There's a moment where it's like, she's upset that people are thinking that she might be a lesbian, so she's like, they think that I may be a disciple of Sappho. Like, what? But anyway...
No native English speaker's gonna use Sappho.
I'm just saying, as far as Scamp is concerned, I'd be very interested in seeing what the original Japanese word there was and what other options we could have gone with.
It was like Scampu or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, he's not important, really. He feels like the author's surprise doesn't seem to know what to do with him until the end when he quits being a cop.
The only good decision he makes.
I don't know. At one point, he slaps Yuki, and it's good, actually. And yeah. David, what about Dr. Nita? There's not much else to say about fucking Scamp.
Yeah, Scamp is just kind of there. Dr. Nita, his own justice. He is actually a doctor, though.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, which is why I didn't say Dr. Dr. Yuki.
Or at least he was. I don't know. I'm pretty sure murder takes your medical license off the table. I don't know. Maybe not in Japan. I don't know.
Who knows? And I think he's killed 9 people now because he killed 5, he broke out, killed 4 more, and then maybe 5.
He killed at least 5. In fact, that guy that they talked to in Tokyo is like, in fact, there might even be more out there that he killed. We'll never know.
I think killing 9 people is probably sufficient to be in jail for the rest of your life.
Probably.
But it's also like, was he justified? Like, damn, he's like Kira, you know, just he only kills bad guys, like Dexter or whatever.
But we didn't really delve into it far enough. Like, we didn't exactly see the full extent to just how bad these people were that he was just out here murking.
I mean, he exists for 2 chapters in this series.
Yeah, it's like the characters in the series don't really matter, so I just want a third one so I could talk.
Okay.
You know, it is my podcast, so I'd like to discuss.
Okay, well, why don't you talk then, David?
Okay, I started by talking about him.
Well, keep going.
Okay, so, Kaylin, how are you doing today? All right, and so we had a little bit of a recording kerfluffle, so we don't know what's going on. But anyway, we're getting into the why it failed section.
Why did this series fail? What?
This failed bad? I have no idea. But Kaylin, do you mind telling us what was something that stood out to you as something you didn't like about the series?
Something I didn't like about it. It felt a little all over the place.
Yeah.
And actually, there is a similarity to City Hunter here in that I feel like maybe Tsukasa Hojo has a problem starting its series, because there's a big similarity in, like, he didn't know at the beginning of City Hunter what exactly he wanted City Hunter to do, and it took, like, several chapters before it was like, oh no, this is what the rhythm is. This is what my series is actually about.
Yeah.
And I don't think he figured that out in Rash, at all. I don't think he ever got there.
What the fuck? Like, the entire, the first 3 chapters are a complete waste of a time in a way I haven't seen discarded in a way in quite a while, where he tried to slightly make being a doctor relevant, and then, this entire, drug dealer plot is so completely out of nowhere and irrelevant to what the point of this manga was.
She spends so much more time fighting crime than she does doing anything doctor related at all.
Right.
Well, she isn't a doctor.
Well, but she's supposed to act as a doctor.
Yeah.
She got hired as a doctor, and you figure, oh, well, the plot's gonna take place in the jail where she does the doctor shit. Really? Not so much, actually. Not a lot of time in that jail.
No, I really thought the plot was gonna be like, oh man, what's the medical emergency this time with the prisoner or something? And it's like, no, she's barely in the fucking prison. It's like, why even bother having a prison?
Is there even a prisoner besides Dr. Nita that has a name?
No.
I think they give a name to that Scar guy.
I didn't even remember. Where did he come from?
He was just a guy in jail who was like she has this prisoner who's like an old guy who's like helping her, and I don't think he ever gets a name, but he's like, oh, I know this guy, and he knows the guys that doctor's going after, so yeah, he can help out or something. And I think they give him a name, but it's like I didn't care enough to write down his name.
I mean, even in the first chapter, Jordan and I really struggled to be like, what is the plot of this manga? And it never really finds it in any capacity. Besides, actually, I will say it seemed cool that Panic Attack guy seemed like that was kind of the theme of the series, and then there's never a plot like that ever again.
I wonder if it just needed more time for Tsukasa Hojo to figure it out. But sometimes you just don't have that time. I can understand why it only ran as long as it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not onto something here, and I don't.
And he knew it.
He did not find any sort of rhythm. It felt like a completely different manga, every 3 or 4 chapters. Basically.
Yeah.
It's very true. It's very true.
I also, holy shit, there's so much text in this series.
Oh my god, so much.
Why do I need to read so much? And everything felt so stretched out. That Stalker chapter did not need to be maybe it was 3 chapters. It did not need to be more than 1 chapter.
Here's the thing. We are, at this moment, confused because I swear that guy wasn't saying she has to come back and finish med school. He was saying that she's a member of the faculty. But we're both confused, and this should not be a confusing thing where we don't even know if the main character is a doctor or not.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here wondering if maybe that's just what this translation was that it was confusing? Or if really, no, Tsukasa Hojo dropped the ball and he did not make this very clear. I'm not really sure.
Look, it's possible that the translation made it more confusing, but there's no way that a good translation would have made this series work.
Oh, no, I wouldn't have fixed the series, no.
It has no clue what it's doing at any point. It really feels like if the writers for House just could not come up with any interesting medical diagnoses to have on here.
Hojo definitely much more prefers action and is not a doctor. So
Yeah, was he like, oh, I gotta like research for this series? No.
It just feels like, oh man, I'm gonna start this, and then I'm gonna get a medical textbook, and I'm gonna find all these weird diagnoses, and I'm gonna put them in this series. It's gonna be crazy. And then he did that, and then he got to like chapter 3, and he was like, shit, I can't find anything.
He needed a consultant really badly.
He needed a consultant.
He definitely, like, reeks of a guy who's just like, I just really like cool shit. I just want to make cool shit happen.
He just wants to be a Rocky.
I've watched so many movies. Just let me make manga that just looks like a bunch of 80s action shit. Please, for the love of God. And he loves cars. He loves the fuck out of cars. So
you can tell.
he just draws cars, real cars, really well all the time. And, like, that's all he really wants to do. I don't know why he decided, yes, important medical things that are going to require a lot of extraneous knowledge. I don't know how he came to this decision.
Yeah, this is like, making an interesting mystery is difficult enough. Making an interesting mystery involving complex medical knowledge is like, dude, you are setting yourself up for failure here.
Yeah.
And he knew that, so he stopped as soon as he realized that he did that to himself. But that's the whole thrust of your comic. So it's like, shit, what do I do? I guess she's a PI now. I guess she's just a crime fighter.
I guess we're just doing City Hunter again.
Oh, God. Also, this series, very strange relationship with both women and queer people.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you have a series with a quote-unquote strong female main character that doesn't even pass the Bechdel test?
I know. And really, like, parts of it, I am like, oh, okay, so she's in charge of her own sexuality, and that's how she gets shit done. Like, I can be okay with that, but also, we really gotta make sure that we see her, like, regularly almost get assaulted, or actually get assaulted, and like, okay.
Well, you know, Scamp still has to save her. I mean, he is the man, you know what I mean? Like, man, still gotta save her. Like,
and then our man calls the cops, which solves their issue.
That was the funniest one, where it's just like they get saved and it's like they do all this stuff to like infiltrate a gang, and it's like, shit, how did we get saved? Oh, this other guy just called the cops.
I didn't think we'd get this far.
Like, oh shit.
Oh, well, what do you mean? But they told us not to call the cops, so how could this have happened?
And he's like, I just did it anyway. Like, oh, okay.
All right, and then I think in the interest of time, shall we get into what it did well, since we're talking about some things we might have enjoyed or at least thought were ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, Jordan, what was something you enjoyed about the series?
Man, the art is great.
This entire series is sacrificed for this quality of art.
Hojo's an incredible artist. Yeah.
Yes.
100%. Boy, he draws hot women really fucking well, and also cars.
And they look realistic.
Yeah, they look like people.
Yeah, like, holy shit, these are like the best and most accurate bodily proportions I may have ever seen in manga. Like, this is a guy who has gone to life drawing classes.
Yes.
Like, holy shit, a manga where the main character's head is proportioned correctly.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you check out, especially latter half of City Hunter's manga, and then Angel Heart as well. It's very similar in that regard. Just really realistic art. And I'm wondering if, like, he just didn't have time to balance out, what's more important? Really great looking art or actually doing research for writing this book?
It feels like you took a genuinely great mangaka and just gave him a shitty script.
Entirely possible. I'm wondering if somebody pitched this to him, like this wasn't his decision right from the outset. I feel like he would not have made this decision on his own to do this.
Yeah.
It sounds like the way that you've described City Hunter, it sounds like he's kind of just an impulsive author who's like, I'll figure it out.
He is kind of like that. In fact, you'll see some of these things in the panels. Some of them look like translator's notes, but actually they're Tsukasa Hojo himself writing little quips like, hey, actually, don't put a plastic bag over the head.
What the fuck was
of somebody having a panic attack.
Oh yeah, they absolutely needed like a don't try this at all.
That's Tsukasa Hojo writing that himself, right? True in City Hunter as well, and I'm sure in other manga that he's published, that he just leaves little quips about himself where he says, you know what, I didn't fully think this part out, or you know what, I already did this joke, but I don't have anything else to fall back on, so I'm just gonna do it again. He just says it out loud.
You know what? I can respect that.
It's like, you know what, man? If the art and paneling and stuff wasn't as good as it was, you might be hurt by that. But it's like, damn, you're clearly putting so much quality work into like every other aspect of the manga that it's like, damn, if this manga didn't look as good as it did, I would be so much more harsh on it.
Right.
He is such a good artist. He manages to make things look realistic and also expressive. Like, it has that manga exaggeration while still being very like solid.
He's very good at switching back and forth between those two things. He can go super realistic or way super goofy comedy. There's these little comedy prose that will pop up occasionally, like, this is the punchline of a joke, so this goofy ass little bird is just flying by. And that pops up in City Hunter too. He's just carried over literally exactly the exact same joke.
Oh my god.
But he does know, like, he can do that. He can go back and forth between, I'm a comedy writer, but also, boy, I love 80s action movies, and I think all the titles of every single one of these chapters is like a reference to some movie or some cool 80s rock lyric or something like that.
MaxyBee actually has a full list of every reference they could identify.
Yeah.
So we will get into that.
I do also love how Yuki has like a fucking catchphrase. Like, why does this only happen to me?
It's doctoring time.
Come on.
And then she doctored all over the place.
It is peak 80s many times.
Even though it's made in 1996.
But I think this man is very much clinging to
he's trapped
this.
In the 80s.
This is when shit was cool, man.
That is fair.
I love some of her outfits. Like, she has that one massive baseball hat that's just like turned backwards. Like, okay, now we're in an observation that Japan never really left the 80s. It's like, what if Nirvana never hit in like 91 and it just kept going? Because it's like that weird Saved by the Bell 90s look with like the huge weird hat that like you would see in like Full House.
Yeah, that's accurate.
God. All right, I think we're getting a little off topic, so shall we get into where it could have gone?
Yeah.
So, I guess the big thing is actually have made this, like, house in prison with wacky anime hijinks, or manga hijinks. Like, just, I loved how she had to get scrappy with limited equipment in, like, the first or second chapter, and then it should have just been that. It really should have been what he presented the series as being in the first, like, 3 chapters.
Honestly, it could have worked if, like, chapter 1 could have been indicative of what the rest of the series was, then I would have been like, hey, actually, this is kind of fucking cool. And then it did not do that. So I don't know why he did not just do that some more.
Yeah, I mean, the first chapter, I feel like he watched Speed right before he he wrote that. But it is like, if he can't come up with like weird medical conditions, it was cool how in the first chapter she was like Dr. MacGyver, where it was like, get a fucking car battery. Like, does this make sense? I mean, not really, but whatever.
They don't teach you that in medical school.
They don't teach you that in medical school.
Well, she wouldn't know because she has to finish going to medical school.
I love how, no, but like the scene where she meets Dr. Nita, it's like he literally copied the scene from Silence in the Lambs. Like, where Clarice meets Hannibal Lecter, where it's like she goes through that corridor of really creepy prisoners, and then there's just this smart gentleman prisoner just standing there, all stoic.
Yeah, sure, he killed a few people, but he's so nice.
I mean,
he's so nice.
I kind of want to see a series that was just Dr. Nita.
That would be kind of interesting. I don't know.
Like Batman Doctor? That would have been cool as fuck.
I mean, it's like, what if Dexter was a doctor in that sense?
Coming to Showtime, Dr. Murder. It looks like I've diagnosed this patient with a bad case of death.
He literally was doing that, though. It's like, time to begin surgery, and he pulls out like
scalpel, and he's just gonna slit his throat. He's like, you can't commit crime if you're dead.
God, I almost called a scalpel an X-Acto knife. Fuck.
I would go to the doctor using the X-Acto knife on my surgery. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Oh, if I would go to a doctor if I knew they were going to murder me.
Sometimes I feel that way, you know.
All right. Okay. Miscellaneous thoughts?
Yeah.
Or do people... Okay, let's do it. So, yeah, I figure you're going to eat good in this section. Are there any things that you haven't felt like you've had a chance to bring up yet?
Yeah, bring like some more City Hunter connections.
Yeah. Tell us more about City Hunter
More
Connection.
about City Hunter connections. I wasn't really sure because I'm only so good at cars, right? But like Scamp near the end pulls up in a car and it kind of looks like it's some model of Mini Cooper, and like the Mini Cooper is the car that the main character in City Hunter drives, and I couldn't help but feel like, you just really wanted to do more City Hunter. I think that's all you know how to do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's like, look, this is what I've been practicing doing. It sounds like when he doesn't know what to do, it's just like shit, plan B, and plan B is just City Hunter.
It's just more City Hunter, which is fine because City Hunter is great, although it does share a lot of the problematic things that Rash also has, which is kind of weird because sometimes City Hunter is bad, but also progressive. They'll treat LGBT people strange and then suddenly turn back around and be like, oh no, LGBT people are great. We love LGBT people. And I'm just not sure what the message is. But in this series, we did not get to that part where we come back around to the, oh, LGBT people are great message.
The whole thing with Haruka and Yuki was very strange. It's just like Haruka is basically gender doesn't matter to her so long as her life is saved.
Yeah.
Which I could have been down with that, like, oh, she's just fickle because she'll just fall for, like, oh wow, this is a really romantic sort of thing that happened to me. I got saved by, like, some knight in shining armor regardless of their gender. That's cool. I mean, too bad she's a high school girl. That's where the problem for me was.
That's where the problem is. I do appreciate that, like, the characters that she was into were all like, you're a kid.
Yes.
No. Which is not a given.
Yeah.
No, that thankfully is a relatively through thread for Tsukasa Hojo, pretty much repeatedly being like, hey, stuff with kids is pretty bad, actually. He'll make the joke that I wish he wouldn't make, but then also comes back around to, but also remember, it's bad.
Thank you. But it reminded me, David, of I Tell C.
Yeah, I figured you would bring that up.
MarzGurl. I Tell C is a series where the main character is a detective, but her thing is that she falls in love with criminals.
Okay.
So, like, regardless of gender. So it's just like she'll stop a bank robber, but she's like in love with the bank robber, so she like knows everything about him, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked the series. David did not like it.
Yeah. What is it she calls it? It's like interrogates or something? Yeah,
interrogates.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
That was a really good translation. I would actually still be curious if they actually do say the word lesbian in that one page or if that was like a translation.
She's a follower of Sappho, Dave.
Follower of Sappho.
They'll think I'm some follower of Sappho. What the fuck?
God. Yeah, also, they actually showed someone with an erection, which was really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that you had to find out this way, that this is a Tsukasa Hojo thing.
You love drawing boners.
Oh, City Hunter is like, oh, you don't understand. This a regular occurrence. Regular occurrence in the manga pages of City Hunter. And that when they were making the anime for City Hunter, they were like, well, shoot, we can't just show the main character popping a boner all the time. So what they had to do was make up a word as a catchphrase. The word being mokori. It's the reason why my podcast with my husband about City Hunter is called Mokori Play. It's because it's this main character's catchphrase. He's like, oh, every time he sees a hot girl, he just shouts, oh, mokori, because it's the sound effect for getting a boner.
I thought you were gonna be like schwing.
A schwing would be a very good, like, yeah, a translation for what mokori actually is.
Oh my God.
So this guy is just like out here yelling swing all the time as a replacement for the fact that Tsukasa Hojo would not stop drawing boners.
Oh my God. So he's just like, boner.
Constantly. And all these other characters are just like, why do you keep saying that? What does that even mean? Because he made up the word.
Oh my God.
Also, I love the nostalgia how since this is set in the mid-90s, they have to explain how cell phones work. You're like, he has a cell phone, he could be anywhere, where it's like in Hunter x Hunter, they had to explain how the internet worked.
I just love the fact that, I mean, you're cops, you know that cell phones exist. I can't believe it just wasn't even a thought in their brain. Like, oh my god, we didn't even consider the possibility of a cell phone.
Speaking of, also, I love how that one dude, like, the guy breaks out of prison and he doesn't correlate a notable serial killer that kills criminals and 4 of his associates being murdered all of a sudden. I feel like it's very easy to correlate those two events.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like, no, he wouldn't kill me. He's only killed 4 of my associates.
Yeah, he's not gonna come after me.
Yeah.
I also love how, Dr. Nito won because all those guys did, in fact, die that he went after.
Yes.
Like, he succeeded. She fucking failed to stop him at all.
Yeah. And then he got away, maybe.
Frankly, we didn't see a body. He's alive.
He's definitely alive.
If they were to ever bring this back, they won't. Please, God, don't. But if they did, he's gonna be the main plot point, and then there's gonna be this tug of war in her heart over, do I still love Murder Man, or do I love the ex-police officer who just hit me? It's just such a strange plot.
It really is. I also want to read some of MaxyBee's thoughts before we head to the final section, or almost final section, where MaxyBee said Rash as in reckless, not in the skin reaction.
Or is it? It's a pun.
Oh, I love that. The first chapter is called Rash Rush, right? I think is what the title of that chapter is, which is funny because you read the katakana, both of those words are pronounced the same way in Japanese. They're both
that's cool.
They're both just Rash Rush. So, like, that's the joke. That's the pun. That you could read it however the fuck you choose to read it, I guess.
You see, that's the beauty of art and literature. You know, it's all up to interpretation.
Yes, and in an interview for his 20th anniversary as a creator, Hojo determined that Rash's failure was due to him attempting to please his editor over following his own creative impulses.
See, he just wanted to do more City Hunter.
That's 100% what it was.
And then Rash is the last of Hojo's works to be serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump, and the last work aimed at the shonen demographic. This pattern of previously successful authors floundering in the 90s and having to move to a more mature publishing environment was especially common in Weekly Shonen Jump and was a major factor in Susaka Hojo, Tetsuhara, Ryuji Sugihara. Sure, and former Weekly Shonen Jump editor-in-chief Nobuhiko Hyorei leaving Shueisha and establishing manga production company Chromix, which we talked about when we talked about with Takeki Ryusei.
Yeah.
And then rather than just being listed as chapters, Rash's episodes are listed as karte, a Germanic loanword for a patient's medical record, as MarzGurl has said. And did you know all chapters outside of chapter 1 and 8 are film titles? So here's the big list. Are you guys ready?
There it is, yeah.
Sleeping Beauty, Father of the Bride, Cold Sweat, Conversation Piece, The Wages of Fear, Looking for Mr. Goodbar, The Getaway, True Confessions, Beauty and the Beast, Scarface, Friendly Persuasion, Hang 'em High, The Fugitive, and Starting Over. I've only seen 2 of those movies, so I am a plebeian.
I'm so shocked about Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand because of what comes up in the manga, how he got there, but also, this man watched Father of the Bride? Wow.
Why not? It's Kino.
That's like, what is it? David, I forget if you told this story where, like, there's an episode of Cowboy Bebop that's, like, clearly based on Con Air, and somebody asked the creator, hey, like, why did you base this episode on, like, a silly movie like Con Air? And he's like, what are you talking about? That's like a classic movie.
The best movie ever made.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised by Scarface and The Fugitive. Those are very much, Tsukasa Hojo loves those kind of films.
Yeah.
And they talk about cocaine a lot in this.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so much cocaine.
Oh boy, City Hunter 2. Ooh, super cocaine.
Oh god. Hey, write what you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cocaine 2. Electric boob. Anyway.
Okay, White Snow.
Snowflame, everybody's favorite Marvel character.
Yeah, it showed up in Harley Quinn, actually. It's great.
Good. So I guess DC character. All right.
Quinn is such a good series. Anyway, let's get into final verdicts. So MaxyBee, do it in a Scooby voice. Rash and bring Branchel Rutro.
To be clear, David said Rash Razrin Ranceled Rutro, just in case you couldn't understand what he just said. Rash Razrin Ranceled Rutro.
Critical said, crimes and sickness, the tomboy doctor. Diego, it won't give you rashes, guaranteed. Dude rocks, the nurse doesn't do much nursing. Jersey Luck, the cat's eye looks into prison, and also there was confusion again if she was a doctor or not. Because multiple people were like, is she a doctor? And then Lord Anubis, I have a rash on my brain. Portal Man, nurse, give me another dose of pain, and John Wick crossover with General Hospital. Real?
I like that.
How many words is hello, nurse? Spubby, not irritating on the skin, surprisingly. The laughing fool jailhouse nurse sounds a bit rash.
Hey.
And then, Kalen, what was yours?
Oh, hot doctor lady has erratic ideas.
Accurate.
I love it. Jordan, how about you?
Couldn't think of any cool illnesses. And what if House was never home?
And mine was diagnosis, a case of plot amnesia.
Hey.
I had one that I couldn't make enough words where it was something like, let's turn the big house into a big home.
I was thinking that too, but it was,
Yeah, you were on the same wavelength, but I couldn't make it 6 words without like just butchering it.
yeah.
Anyway, Kalen, is this a flop or not?
Not Hojo's best work. This is a flop out of him.
Okay, I would agree. How about
Yeah.
you, Jordan?
Yeah, it is a flop. It's not certified.
I think it's not certified. The art really saves it from not certified.
It's because, it's got good fundamentals, good fundamentals. He's good at making manga, but this ain't it, Chief.
It was funny. I was I don't know, Kalen, have you ever played Magic the Gathering?
Yes, I have.
So I was I did a draft yesterday and everyone took like bombs and shit and I just got like a bunch of like pretty good commons and uncommons and I actually did really well in the tournament. And people were like, yeah, your deck doesn't have any bombs, but it's got really solid fundamentals.
Fundamentals. Like this is a basketball game.
Yeah.
I've got some really good removal. I got a little bit of ramp, but curve out. I have a great curve. I don't have any haymakers in my deck, but by God, it's my deck of 5 out of 10 at all times.
It's like Floyd Mayweather. It wins on points, but it's boring.
Yeah. Oh, that's literally what happened. I just outplayed him. Since this manga is a flop, Kale, what is something someone should check out instead?
Maybe City Hunter?
I had a feeling. Jordan, how about you?
So something I didn't bring up is that for some reason, to me, and Steph agrees with me on this, Yuki looks so much like the character of Brenda from the TV show 6 Feet Under. And 6 Feet Under is a great show, and it features, I believe her name is Melissa Marsala, famous from Vampires, who's for some reason in season 2. But yeah, 6 Feet Under, great show. Watch that.
I love it. And mine is, I actually haven't read it, but MaxyBee always hypes it up. If you want to read a manga actually about a doctor, I've heard Blackjack is excellent.
Blackjack is great.
Blackjack is super good.
I hear that's one of the few character designs that the author, I'm spacing on his name, but he never has recycled his design. Or I guess never did because he's dead.
Osamu
What?
Tezuka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know how he had like that, I like how he branded character recycling as, it's like they're actors in different movies. So like Astro Boy shows up in like 5 different series as different characters.
Yeah, I guess the thing is you can't really use Blackjack's design anywhere else because it's just like, oh, that's Blackjack.
But
He's got
Astro Boy is just as famous, but he still recycled Astro Boy's design.
I guess at least with Astro Boy, you could be like, nah, it's a kid with a similar hairstyle. With Blackjack, it's like,
Not a guy with a big old stitch scar down his face.
Fair enough. All right. And so I would say this is not the worst series we've ever read.
no, not at all.
All right, let's get in a wrap up then. So, MarzGurl, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. This was an absolute blast. Where can people get more of you in their lives?
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. So, you can find me across social media. The one I am most often using is Blue Sky. I'm at MarzGurl.com, and that's also my website, MarzGurl.com. I'm also a closed caption and subtitle editor as my day job, so I'm also working on a lot of anime. If you're watching Mobile Suit Gundam G-Quux, thank you for watching that. I did the subtitles and shit on that
I've heard
show.
good things about that.
It's fun. I'm excited that I'm on Gundam. That's crazy for me to say.
How do you feel about G Gundam?
How do I feel about G Gundam? Oh, I mean, Master Asia is obviously the greatest character of all time.
We have been on like a trip just telling people about G Gundam and all of our appearances.
Our favorite thing is if somebody hasn't heard of G Gundam, we just send them a picture of the Tequila Gundam.
Or the Mermaid Gundam.
That will either convince someone or send them running real fast.
It's just like, look at this thing. And multiple times, like, do you know Shen from Shen Comics?
Yes.
We have gotten him completely obsessed with the Mermaid Gundam. Where he's just like, what the fuck is this?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is like our 5th episode in a row mentioning G Gundam.
Well, I gave you a reason. That's fair.
Thank you. But no, Mobile Suit Gundam G-Quux, I mostly know because I saw it and I was like, that can't actually be how the title's spelled, right?
It is.
It
It's
is.
6 U's.
What, you've never seen an Evangelion film, Jordan?
Believe me, I have to check every single time. Like, oh man, if I miss a U, somebody's gonna be really mad.
But yeah, what else have you worked on besides Mobile Suit Gundam?
Actually, I know that you guys had David Evelyn on
We did.
sometime back. So he translated the Undead Unluck manga. I ended up working on both the
love that
subtitles and the closed captions of Undead Unluck.
Oh shit!
The
hell
anime.
yeah.
He talked about that in our episode we had on him. We did an episode of Undead Unluck, and he was discussing about how he collaborated with you. Shit, I didn't even realize you were the person he was talking about.
Yeah. Oh, I was so like, when I found out I was working on it, I was like, oh my god, I'm eventually gonna get to tell David that I'm working on something that he already touched. And like, I was so excited just to be like, oh, I get to work on something my friend also worked on. Oh, I'm so happy.
Oh, that's awesome.
I fully read all of Undead Unluck in like maybe 3 weeks.
Oh, that's incredible.
God, that was a great series. I try and get people into it. I think I told Shen about that one too, Jordan. Anyway, that is fantastic. And then I want to give props to Jordan for making the opening and ending theme, being a great co-host, and helping with editing.
Thank you, David, for everything that you do on the show.
No problem. Props to Merliel for the awesome cover art. Find her online at Lyle Mur, and Nigel for being our generous art benefactor. Thank you, Dylan, for assistance with editing. You can find his podcast, Anime Out of Context, at animeoutofcontext.com. Thanks to Tucker MaxyBee for assistance with pronunciation, translation, other miscellaneous research. Tucker, I hope you have a great time in Japan.
Yeah.
You can find us on Blue Sky/X at Shonen Flop, Tumblr Shonen-Flop, and our website shonenflop.com. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever else you get your podcast. And come join the Shonen Flop Discord. It's open to everybody. Hang out with us, talk about anime, games, whatever else is on your mind. We even have a manga book club and movie nights. Find a link to it in the show notes or on our site, shonenflop.com. And Jordan, anything you want to toss in?
Yeah, so a few things. First of all, Kaylin, are you familiar with a TV show called Vampires?
It's just, that's the whole title. It's vampires. No, I don't.
No, it's N, not M.
Van
N is in Nancy.
Pyres?
Van-Pyres.
Okay, no, not even remotely.
Well, I cannot even begin to explain it to you because it's essentially if somebody made a fever dream into a children's TV show in the 90s. But I have a podcast about it called Mission Ignition, so check that out. I'm painting again, and my Instagram is Jordan Forbes Art, and I'd like to thank my wonderful girlfriend Steph for all her support.
Sounds good. And I want to say I also love my wife Rachel. She is the best. And we just had a great time watching with Ravioli the bike race that's going down. And I got Ravioli a frog-shaped dog treat that she really loved.
Aww.
Well, let's get into sign-offs. Thank you so much for joining us. Tune in next Monday as we give our thoughts on everything we've talked about this year for it's our 5-year anniversary. This has been David.
This has been Jordan.
This has been Kaylin.
And you've been listening to Shonen Flop.
Keep on flopping.
Yeah! All right.
There you go.
And scene.
Nice.